morning, everyone. Y'all tuned in on the Real Talk Show with Reshaunda Blank and my co-host, Bayou Divas, Dorian, Baham. We've been having so much fun since I came back from Los Angeles in the city of New Orleans on duty with Active Action. Me and Dorian, we had a beautiful show the other day at the PMR.
Right. The Easter Appreciation Bash that we did for the community, for the kids to come out that wouldn't have an Easter. We gave them one, you know, and we did the Easter egg hunt, the snowball. Y'all tune in to WUPL My 54 and catch the show live yourself. The interviews and everything that we had going on in there was live.
Yeah, it was beautiful. we had a host of stars. We even had a lady from New York, Worldwide International Records. She contacted us and got her artists to come out to perform. Right. We had a beautiful thing. Now we over here this morning at the Love and Action Outreach Program with Miss Gail Womack.
Yeah, pretty cool lady. She started this program. We're gonna really find out all our information once we do the interview. So y'all stay tuned. But we right now in New Orleans East on Diamond Road, and this organization is giving back to those in need. As you can see, we got free groceries, clothing, all kind of items, and so on and so forth. I think she even gets a lot of volunteers from all over. And last time I was here, it was like volunteers from New York, where the kids come out and come to the car and bring you your items, and they even pray over the elderly and the sick, you know, to relieve them of their ailments or whatever. So y'all stay tuned. In a few minutes, we're going to meet Miss Gail Womack herself and let her explain to you her vision.
Absolutely, and that is just so beautiful. You know, I know we see the crime and the violence. I'm so glad me and Dorian connected, right, where we could focus on producing the good peer pressure. Because just like we see the violence and stuff going on, but that's not the only thing going on. God has came back and He is snatching us out the enemy hands each and every day. So you all stay tuned for a beautiful show. Thank you.
She can help with that today. And then we've got the thrift store in the back. So this is how we generate our revenue. Okay. So this is the boutique. We got stuff that's a little bit pricey, like $10, $15. But in the back, everything is $1.
Okay. Yeah. A friend that don't do heels right along with me.
I sure don't. Charlie host all day. Yeah. So Miss Gail, tell us a little bit about yourself, your story.
Where do I start?
Wherever you want.
But my name is Gail, and I use a hyphenated last name, Womack Murray, and Womack is for my boys. Right. But in 1984, 85, I went through like a divorce separation from my husband.
Right.
And he moved to Alabama, which left me with a house note, car note, no funds, just went from 2-income household to 1. And I was trying to figure it out. I had a job with the federal government, you know, so it was, I wasn't being paid a lot, but people think that that's all kind of money. But more was going out than coming in. Yes. So I applied for food stamps, and I was denied because of my job. And I left the food stamp office devastated, you know, because I didn't know I needed to lie and all of that. All I knew is that I'd already worked the numbers, and it wasn't enough. So I figured if I could pay my nursery, then maybe I could get food from, you know, with the food stamps. And on my way home from the office, I was crying about it, and a lady said, you know, what's wrong with you? You know, and we started talking. I'm really going to tell you, you know, so I'm telling the lady. And she said, baby, there's a food pantry on Bullock. She said, you could go over there and get some food. And at that time, it was at Cornerstone. I went there. They were really, really nice to me. When I tell you I didn't have anything at home, I had nothing at home to eat. So I went there, and I mean, they really treated me nice. They didn't talk down to me or whatever, because after being denied, I just figured my income was too much.
Right.
So no matter where I went, it was going to be the same story.
Yeah.
You know, you don't qualify.
Yes,
But they treated me nice. They gave me a voucher to go to Winn-Dixie and get meat to go with the food that they'd given me. And you know, things got better, which they always do. You know, if we just hang in there,
Right.
it'll
Yes,
get better.
yes.
So when things changed for me and I was in a place where I could help somebody, I brought it to our church. I was going to Lower Light Baptist Church at the time. And I
That's
asked,
in New Orleans?
Yes, that's on Ray Avenue.
Okay.
And I asked my pastor, I said, "What you ever consider doing a food pantry?" I said, when I was in need, I went to a church and they were able to help people in the community. So this was in 1998. So we started the food pantry from the church. And at that time, we were doing it once a month. And we served maybe 100 people. We would prepare the bags. And then it got to the point where we were doing 150, 200 people. And then Hurricane Katrina came. And we relocated to Texas. But my heart was still in New Orleans doing outreach. And my husband kept saying, "Well, why you want to go back? We bought a house out here." I said, "Look, I knew there were people needing assistance before Hurricane Katrina. Can you imagine what they're going through right now, trying to rebuild? A lot of the stores aren't open. I've already got the relationship with Second Harvest, so I need to be back in the city." So we started giving out food on the corner of Renee and Chef under tents that the Orleans Parish OPP provided for us. And sometimes I would go to meet the truck at 6 o'clock in the morning. And when I got off the high rise, I could see silhouettes of people in the dark, sitting in chairs, on crates, waiting for us to get started at 9. In my heart, I'm telling you, my heart would I just knew that that's what God had called me to do.
Right.
And even now when I think about it, I get so emotional.
It's
But-
giving me chills. Right. It's giving me chills
But
right
you know,
now.
but just to see, because some people say that people are just greedy. But let me tell you, you're not going to sit out there in the dark for 3 hours waiting for a truck to come.
greed.
They
You
was
know,
out
for
there
greed.
something.
Yeah.
They
We
was
do
out there
that for need,
something.
not greed.
Right,
Right.
because at some point, you just say, "Look, I'm not doing this."
Right.
But I would see the same people month after month. And it's not so much that they had zero coming in. They just had so much going
Struggle.
on.
The struggle.
Right. It was just a lot going on. So we would serve 350 to 400 households on the third Saturday of every month from 9 until 12.
Wow.
And the lot that we were on, it started to fill with water. Sometimes it was raining. It was extremely cold. And I was praying about it, and I said, "Lord, it's one thing to serve people, but you want to serve them the best you can. You don't just want to do something just to be doing it."
Right.
So we found a storefront. And there wasn't any money coming in. My husband was like, "I think you have lost your mind. You picking up more bills."
Right.
We tried. We're not in a place where we had a lot, that we could even afford to do this, but we did sidewalk sales.
Right.
Like we would serve every day, and then we would do thrift store sidewalk sales in front of the building on a Friday, Saturday, and even some Sundays, depending on what was going on. And that sustained us. God just provided and made a way. And from that point, we formed relationships with people that have helped us to move from one place to another.
Right.
Yeah, so now we're operating 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, from 9 until 3. And we serve over 2,000 households a month. Wow. Somewhere around 2,100. We expect on any day to serve maybe 150 people. And it's not so much that we're giving out food, I look at it as ministry. I'm just here to serve.
Right.
I'm here to be used however God wants me to be used.
Yes, yes. And not meaning to cut you off, but I want to tell you that, I feel that, I geared the TV show towards good peer pressure, turning struggles into success, and just holding on. And that's what I see you. You know, that's what I see you as a lady of greatness. Like, you held on, you stepped out on faith. You know that your father promised to never leave you comfortless, and you best to believe he have your promise. And your husband, he witnessed that as well with you. And I feel ministry. I feel ministry right now. So it's real. It's a real connection. Thank you so much.
And you
thank
know,
Dorian for bringing
and
this.
let me tell you, you know what God is looking for. He's looking for faithfulness, and He's looking for commitment. It's not going to be easy. And this is for anyone who wants to start a nonprofit, or anyone that feels ministry in their spirit. It's not going to be easy. But all He's asking is that we be faithful, and He will, and He is faithful. And sometimes I'm driving up and down Downland, and one morning I was driving, and I don't know, it's just like the Lord just showed me a lot of businesses for profit that had opened and could not remain open, you know, because of business, because of finances. And then He showed me a nonprofit when He is the resource. You know, I'm not depending on anybody but Him. It's still operating. And I know that it's bigger than me. And I am so grateful, because I realized that God could have used anybody, you know, but He chose to use me in this
You were
video,
handpicked and chosen,
you know,
to serve
and I'm
so
so
great.
grateful, and I'm so humbled by that. And most people will tell you when they walk through the door, God has given, I know your name, I know your story. You know, it's good morning, and can call people by their first names. And they're looking at me like, how do you remember everybody?
Compassion.
You know, and it's not me, because if it was left up to me, I don't know my name sometimes. But he allows me to know, and to be able to, He brings back to my remembrance different things. You know, people call me, they let me know when someone is born, you know, when someone has passed. You know, it's like family.
The connection.
Yeah. And He's
in order for them to connect with you like that, you have to be that person, because nobody's not going to connect with no evil person, no bad seed. They feel it. And if they feel the safety, they feel the comfort, and you show them love. So that's what makes the difference as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, Miss Gail, you got to show us around. And
Yeah, I want to do
Now,
that.
explain this to us again, this little room. right
Okay,
here,
this
boutique.
is our boutique.
Okay.
We have something for everyone. We've got our men's clothing over there. We've got the ladies' suits if they want to dress. You know, so we have a little bit of everything. Those are our baby items. And the prices are reasonable. The quality is a little bit better. You know, it's more gently
And the
used.
prices are mainly just donations.
It's
going right back
donations.
into the,
It's going right back into the building.
That's awesome.
Because we are still paying rent. You
Okay.
know, and utilities and all of that. You know,
Right.
so when we stepped out to do this, then we knew it would be an overhead. But I'm gonna tell you how good God is. When it was time for me to retire in 2010. That was another step of faith, because I knew that a larger portion of my salary was paying rent. And I know that God just did something to my husband, because he wasn't on board with it at first. But when he saw that a need was being met, then he mellowed right on out. You know, and then when it was time for me to retire, I had to make a decision. Do I continue to work to fund outreach, or do I retire so that I can do full-time ministry? And I retired. I retired with 30 years at 55. And I've been doing full-time ministry ever since. And we have not missed a beat. As a matter of fact, we've improved on every level. And I know it's nobody but Him.
Is the church down here in New Orleans?
No, this is a 501c3 nonprofit called Love and Action Outreach. It's not a...
It's the ministry. It ain't where you're from. It's where you're at.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, because the one thing about the people that are volunteering here, they're all from different congregations.
Right.
We've even had a Jewish community of teenagers come and volunteer with us.
That's what I think. That's the day that I came.
Yeah.
And I was just amazed by them. They walked my mom to the car. They said a prayer over. I mean,
You know,
it was
because
awesome.
he's really moving us. He's moving us from religion to a relationship.
Yes.
So people are coming from all walks of life. The thing that we all have in common is that we love the Lord and that we want to serve His people.
Right.
And when those teenagers went back to New York, they called me a little bit later. They went and did a fundraiser. And they raised almost $4,000 and donated it back into the ministry.
That's what's
that
up.
is beautiful.
Ain't that a
Yeah,
blessing?
isn't it? It's just amazing.
And see me,
It
I'm
is.
starting my, I'm getting my 501c3
That's why I
started.
wanted y'all to meet too.
The name of my organization is Revelation Glorious Climax. How I come up with that word, because of where I've been. You know, I've went through a trial of things. It's not about me today, it's about you. But I have been through a storm. The enemy, almost took me out. The enemy took my life, almost took my life. My body was thrown out of a car going 70 miles. I was severely beaten, left bloody all alone in the dark for dead. And God pulled me out of that. He saved me. I'm someone that was saved from death. So once He saved me, it's like I want to work for Him. I want to do, because when He gave me that second chance, it wasn't no turning back.
Right.
Because I know what the devil have to offer me.
Right.
I know what he, you know what I'm saying? You could work for the devil, because I was running around working for the devil, making phone calls, doing trips, doing this, doing that. And the devil is still kicking your butt after you work hard for him.
No
So why go
longevity
do
in
that?
it.
Right.
Yeah.
No promise in it.
Exactly. So I came up with Revelation Glorious Climax, because if you Google it, it shows how God will bless you and do whatever in a blinking of an eye.
Right.
In a blanket of eye. So it's a social service and street outreach, because when I was also in the streets, I also ministered. I didn't minister. I wasn't in a church around four walls, but I ministered to older people. I ministered to young people. I ministered to people on drugs. I ministered to gay people. I ministered to people that were being in abusive relationships. It was, it's just God. God used me when I was in the kingdom of darkness.
Right.
So now He's pulled me out, and I want to service Him greatly. So I'm in the process of getting my nonprofit done as well, and I want, like this show and stuff like that. This show is to bring people on who want to get their stories out. We started books and everything, and a few years ago we didn't know about none of this, and God just planted these seeds inside of us, and did it in a blink of an eye with Dorian. Congratulations on her new book.
Thank you.
What's the name of the book?
Life happens to the best of us.
And it does.
And it
Amen
does.
to that.
Yeah.
Yes, and she has some good titles to her books, like Never Judge a Book by Its Cover.
Well, she helped me with that one.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I definitely used that one, because we saw the tattoos. Like when I met her, I saw the tattoos all over. But that didn't mean nothing to me, because some people like to stereotype people with the tattoos, which I have some too. But right away, I saw Never Judge a Book by Its Cover. And we are an organization that we don't judge anymore.
And you gotta use anybody. Right. I'm telling you, you'll be surprised, because you can't judge a book by its cover. You look at me, and I always say, you don't know where I've been.
Right.
But I grew up right there in the Desire Housing Project. 3318 Albert Street, Apartment D.
Night.
I had the tattoos to go to. I had it all going on.
Yes.
But I always knew, even back then,
Come on.
even when I was in the world, in the street, that God had a plan for my life.
Come on now.
And it is something even inside of you, even in our darkness, we always knew that there was something even different.
Can't give up and can't give in.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And what's that other theme, Dorian? A little help?
A little help gives a lot of hope.
And you're right.
And it does. Because that was a little help. Like, I can't remember all that was in that box, but I do remember the kindness and the love that was shown to me when I went to pick it up.
Right.
And even, I like that, don't judge a book, because I see people come here every day. They may not even look like they're in need. They dress better than me, nails done and all of that, driving nice vehicles, but you don't know their story.
Right.
You just don't know. And it may be just temporary. But I want to help you, whatever state you're in. It may be a temporary need, it may be a long-term need. But
and this is a prime example, I'm going to say, and not to put because we will be on WPR 954 TV, but we have to keep it real out here. Now, with my grandmother just purchased a brand new car. She didn't have a car. She just purchased a brand new car. If she come here for help, you would think she got it going on. But no, my grandmother is struggling. She have this brand new car because she need transportation. But she's also short of food and different other things. You don't know what somebody's
going to do. You know, but God has to give you that, though. Whatever you need for ministry, God has to give it to you. He's got to give you the love, the compassion, the ability to look past what you see. You know, we've got guys that come from OPP that volunteers with us, the nicest guys that you would ever want to meet, but they serve in time.
Right.
You know, and so many of them, when they actually get out, they come back.
Wow.
They come back because it's just, it goes without saying, when they're here, they're treated with respect. They treat it like anybody. Mission statement, and this is
mission of love and action outreach is to serve and administer to the needs of others with love according to the Word of God, to actively demonstrate God's love through the empowerment by providing food, clothes, and other available resources, and to positively impact families and communities, our city, and ultimately our state by demonstrating God's love and compassion for those in need. Yes, yes, and I actually have some of these words in my book. I'm gonna have to come back over because I know you're not far. Come back over to bring one of my books because it's empowering.
We need to donate some books.
But you know, and the thing is, by you being the author of some of them, I would love for you to come out, put your table up, do a book sign.
Let's do that. You want to do that?
Yeah, fast, you know, and they'll go through. We'll say, "Did you bring in how many canned goods?" And that's depending on the number of people in the family. And they come back up and they do their Thursday, some young people from out of town.
Let me ask you a question. How do you go about volunteering? Do you contact you all first, or you just pop up here and say, "Hey, I want to volunteer"?
Well,
how does that?
On our website, we've got a volunteer contact form. Normally, people will contact us if it's a large group, and then sometimes people will just come in. Either they'll call me and say, "I recently retired and I want to do something with the community or in the community. Is it okay if I volunteer 2 days a week or something?"
It's okay.
We also
Can you give your name to our audience information and everything?
My name is Gail, G-A-I-L, Womack, W-M-A-C-K-Murray, M-U-R-R-A-Y, and I'm Director of Love and Action Outreach. We're located at 4607 Dowman Road, New Orleans, Louisiana, 70126. Our contact number here at the outreach is 504-309-5898. Website is loveandactionoutreach.org. We do have a Facebook account, and I had some young people last week that connected us with Instagram and Twitter.
Social
And
media.
I don't know how to use
Oh, now, girl, showing off.
Yes. So we want to thank you so much, Miss Gail. We'll be ending the show. I would like another hug.
We love
Thank
you
you
and
so
keep
much.
it going.
And we will be back. We will be back to do a follow-up show.
Yeah, I
with
want
see
you to
how
come.
things have been
Yeah.
going, because this is the kind of things that I like to be connected with. I know ain't no harm, but I'm not gonna get in trouble coming see Miss Gail.
But look, I'm so excited, really, because people will come and volunteer, and then I got a call from New York. Well, Women's Day magazine came and did an article. It's in the January issue of Women's Day, so you may want to look at that article. And sometimes I'm just so bewildered. I'm saying, people from New York are contacting me, and we're right here in the city.
Right.
And very seldom does anyone come and say, "Well, what do you do?"
Come on.
Yeah.
Well, that's why we decided to do what we're doing. To try to give acknowledgement to those who deserve that acknowledgement for the good things that's going on in the city. But we don't get that often, like you said. They get reprimanded everywhere else except for the city of New Orleans.
And I want to put this in that. I know Dorian said it's my show, but it's our show. Without her, I couldn't do
And
this.
that's
I
the way
couldn't do it without
the
her.
volunteers. without them. You know, this is not a one-person thing. And even when this airs, I want it to be more about the people and the outreach and about me. Because let me tell you, I would not be anything, I mean nothing, without him. I could not do this on my own without the volunteers or the people that come. And I'm just so humbled by everything. Now, there's something I wanted to add that's coming up May 5th. It's called NOLA Gail Connection.
Okay.
This is because we're going to do some
groceries.
Yeah.
But this is the one in here, okay?
Yes, and we was talking, I was just talking to the crew about talking to our young people, trying to find out what do they love about themselves. Well, the first thing, when I asked the kids what do they love about themselves, they say they don't know. Well, I have a kid right here today, this morning. I would like to ask you, what do you love about yourself as a young lady, as a kid?
Well, I don't know.
No.
I like my personality. It fits a lot of people, I guess.
Wow, well that is beautiful. At least we got an answer. And see, these are the issues we have to work on. Eyes of a youngster. We finding out. We not sitting around waiting no more. It's love and action, just as Miss Gail said. So that will be our next show about empowering our youth, finding out, be able to get them to write dozens of things they love about themselves. Because it should be more than one thing they love about themselves for them just not knowing. So that's what we want everyone to pray about, because this have not been only just a regular TV show, but this is a ministry, also a ministry of love, a ministry of action, and a ministry of compassion. So we would like our prayer warriors out there to pray for our youth and to help them to be able to recognize what do they actually love about themselves. God gave me this when I went to California, and I'm back here now. And this is an important issue because our kids are our future, and they're reaching death way too early and being exposed to too much. So now it's time to expose them to love and action and find out what do they love about themselves. Thank you so much for tuning in on the Real Talk Show with Reshaunda Blanks invited you. Dorian. Oh, here it is.